In the late 1990s, renting a movie meant going to a video store, choosing a DVD, and making sure you returned it on time to avoid late fees. It was during this period in 1997 that two entrepreneurs, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, began discussing how the internet could change this experience. Reed Hastings once returned a movie late and was charged a large fee. The incident made him wonder, could movie rentals work differently? What if there was no pressure to return a DVD quickly? What if instead of going to a store, a movie could simply arrive in your mailbox? Around the same time, DVDs were becoming popular. They were small, light, and easy to send through the mail. Together, Hastings and Randolph connected these ideas and created Netflix. It was an online DVD by mail company built around convenience and no late fees. Internet adoption was growing. DVDs were spreading fast, and customers loved the simplicity. By the mid-2000s, Netflix introduced a monthly subscription model, allowing people to rent as many movies as they wanted for a fixed price. But the real turning point came in 2007 when Netflix launched online streaming. People could now press play instantly without waiting for a DVD to arrive. As viewers shifted from cable TV to online streaming, Netflix grew into the world's largest subscription streaming service. It started producing its own original series like Stranger Things, Bridgerton, and many others, and quickly became a central part of global entertainment culture. And now, nearly 3 decades after it began, Netflix is attempting its biggest move ever. It is planning to buy Warner Bros.' Discovery Movie Studio and the HBO streaming networks in a $72 billion deal. If approved, it would be one of the largest deals in Hollywood history and would cement Netflix's position at the top of the entertainment world. But the size of this deal has raised major questions, and those questions reached all the way to the White House. At an event in Washington, D.C., the US President Donald Trump said Netflix already has a huge share of the market and that absorbing Warner Brothers would significantly increase that power.
Should they be allowed to buy Warner Brothers? Should Netflix?
Well, that's the question. They have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, that share goes up a lot. So I don't know. That's going to be for some economists to tell. And also, and I'll be involved in that decision too.
Did they make?
They have a very big market share.
This moment highlights how dramatically Netflix has evolved. It was once the disruptor and somehow challenged traditional Hollywood studios. But today, it is becoming something very close to a studio itself, with global influence over what people watch. Under the agreement, Netflix would gain control over some of the biggest entertainment franchises ever created. And that includes Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, The Lord of the Rings, The Matrix, Looney Tunes, DC Comics heroes like Batman and Superman. Plus, there will be HBO hits like Succession, Sex and the City, and Friends. It would also take over TNT Sports outside the United States. For Netflix, this is not just a content acquisition. It is also about subscribers. If combined, Netflix more than 300 million subscribers and HBO's 128 million would create a streaming giant unlike anything the industry has ever seen. Analysts say the move reflects a survival strategy in a fiercely competitive market.
I think Netflix is reacting to the changing marketplace for media and particularly for streaming. More and more, it seems that companies need scale. And while we think of Netflix as one of the biggest in the industry, you look at a Paramount, you look at Warner Brothers Discovery right now, and they just don't have the scale to compete. So I think that Netflix is looking in the future to think what it's going to take to maintain their position.
Warner Brothers, despite its legendary history, has struggled in recent years. Its library is valuable, but its financial performance has been uneven.
Warner Brothers has really been struggling with a mix of assets, some of them performing, obviously HBO Max being so powerful and the key to the library and the assets. Warner Brothers with Harry Potter and other very valuable assets. Batman is in there as well. So there is value there, but they definitely have had trouble uncovering that value to shareholders, partly because of the difficulties of streaming these days.
Still, before anything becomes official, US competition authorities must approve the deal. And President Trump has indicated that he will play a personal role in the review process. When asked further about the merger, he again underlined his concerns about Netflix's size. But at the same time, Trump went his length in praising Netflix's CEO, Ted Sarandos.
Did he make any guarantees to you about the merger if they do merge?
No, not at all. He came up. He was in the Oval Office last week. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a great person, but he's done one of the greatest jobs in the history of movies and other things. He's got a lot of interesting things happening aside from what you're talking about. But it is a big market share. There's no question about it. It could be a problem.
Experts say this means the negotiations may pass directly through the White House. And it's like any unusual level of presidential involvement for a media merger. Netflix beat out several rivals for the deal, including Comcast and Paramount Skydance. Paramount Skydance, run by David Ellison, had earlier tried to buy the entire Warner Bros. Discovery business. That bid was rejected. David's father, Larry Ellison, the tech billionaire and prominent Republican donor, is a close ally of Trump. Trump has spoken warmly about the Ellison family in the past, raising speculation about political influence behind the scenes. The Writers Guild of America has strongly opposed the deal, warning that combining the world's largest streaming service with one of its biggest competitors could lead to job cuts, reduced wages, and fewer opportunities for creative workers. They argue that antitrust laws were designed to stop exactly this kind of consolidation. Netflix's logic is otherwise. The company says the merger would expand its library, increase production in the United States, create jobs, and offer viewers a wider selection. It has also promised to maintain theatrical releases for Warner Bros.' major films. It becomes especially important now because Netflix would, in this case, own DC superhero movies, which perform strongly at the box office. But media analysts say the broader trend behind the deal is clear. Consolidation has been happening for decades, from Japanese companies buying US studios in the 1980s to Disney buying 21st Century Fox more recently.
Like, for example, in the late 80s, early 90s, we had Japanese studios like Sony and Matsushita buying the American studios. And also later on, we have Disney buying the 21st Century Fox. And there was a lot of discussion about this. There is obviously, we see the whole media industry's landscape shrinking, going into the hands of big conglomerates that now are not just in the media business, but in the tech business. We had Amazon buying MGM also just a few years ago. So yes, there is certainly reasons to be worried.
Even ordinary viewers are divided.
They will think that if HBO and Netflix, come together, there will be, one rather than two subscriptions. There will be, more shows in one place, and they would be very happy with that. On the other hand, there are a lot of people who actually, want the diversity. HBO has been spending a lot more emphasis on developing those shows. Netflix did it at the beginning, but because of the volume of shows it produces, it doesn't do that as much, and that's why a lot of the Netflix shows they just disappear every 1 or 2 seasons. But the key thing is that for a lot of viewers, this is good news, but for others, it's not, I think.
Filmmakers are voicing concerns too. Directors like James Cameron have warned that the deal could be a disaster for Hollywood, especially as the industry already faces job losses, fewer productions, and the rise of artificial intelligence. Many fear that if Netflix gains too much control, theatrical movie-going also could reduce further, especially since Netflix's own leadership has previously called the cinema experience an outdated concept. Meanwhile, the deal faces practical challenges. Warner Bros. Discovery must first spin off the parts of its business that are not included, such as CNN, Discovery, and Eurosport. And rival bidder Paramount Skydance may still try to persuade shareholders it offers a better option. Regulators will also have to decide how to define the market. If they focus only on streaming platforms, Netflix's enlarged size may be alarming for few. But if they consider cable TV, broadcast networks, and even YouTube as competitors, Netflix's position looks less dominant. Traditional studios and cable networks, which have been the backbone of Hollywood for decades, are struggling to survive. Streaming is now becoming mainstream. So one thing is for sure, whatever may be the outcome, this deal reflects a major shift in the entertainment industry. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We will see you again in the next episode with more raging issues. Until then, it's goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Mark Lynn signing off. Take care and stay safe.